Hi guys, back to looking crusty looking. I hope I don't look too bad though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Today I wanted to speak about this video is probably going to be called Flowers Grow in the Valley, but I wanted to speak about the cyclical nature of growth. You know? I know there are a lot of topics about everything under the sun out on YouTube. But I speak to you from lived experience, I'm not recycling what everybody has told you. I'm using my life as an honest lens into yours, and you can draw parallels to your life. If we begin to understand that the thing we call growth is a never-ending process, you can never really say you have grown, You could have grown enough, you can get grown enough to the point where you are significantly, advanced in your mastery of self as compared to your peers or your mates. You can get there, but to say you have completed, like you have reached the end of the class, it's not something that can actually happen in life. That is, I mean, when you die, it's fair to say that's the end, right? Graduation. But just think about it. We were born as babies, which is very weird to say, because how else are you born? We're born as unknowing, unintelligent, mindless creatures. Not mindless, but for what it's worth, we had no clue what was going on in the world outside as well as the world inside. And even till now, we don't know what it was that we were thinking as children, because of course our brains are not as developed yet, or blah blah blah. Science will tell you all sorts of things, but it only goes to show that the entire point was learning. Like, whatever this thing is, whatever we came here to experience, we are experiencing it. Whatever we came here to experience, we are experiencing it. And that's why you can't really judge anybody. Not really, because you're not much better. We're all just doing what we can with what we have, with the resources we have at the moment we have them, But it's not ignorant to say that we hurt each other. We are responsible for how other people turn out, either as friends, either as partners, either as parents. In whatever way we get to relate with other people in our lives, we affect them consciously or unconsciously. The things we say, the things we do, the way we react. We keep learning off each other, And some things we learn are terrible things, they are bad. Some things we learn, especially from childhood, is wrong. But it's not our fault. Our body, our mind was made to learn and adapt to every given situation. And that's both a blessing and it could be a curse. Because if you grew up in a toxic environment, chances are you come out a toxic person. Due to no fault of your own. In fact, most times you don't even realize you're being toxic. You don't realize it. Because that's all you've ever known, But to other people, it's like you start to wonder, am I the problem? And most people don't even have enough self-honesty or enough awareness about themselves to see it like, oh, okay, this is my problem. And that's why I feel blessed. I feel incredibly blessed to have the gift of awareness. I'm so aware. And I suffer from it. I suffer from that uninterrupted, boundless awareness of myself, of my soul, of my body, of my actions, of what it means. I know. I can't tell you that I do anything from ignorance, because I know every single Well, of course, I don't know everything about the world, but as from where my actions are birthed from, my reactions, whatever it is, I know where it's coming from. I can tell. Sometimes I can tell in the moment, like as it's happening, I understand what's going on, you know? It's a blessing. But it's also not ideal, because while that sounds great, living it is a different thing entirely. Living as the person who cannot even lie to himself, because sometimes lying to yourself is easier, man. You can go through life happier if you lie to yourself. But true growth is being able to tell yourself the truth. Unfiltered, not sugar-coated, but pure, honest truth. And that's where real growth comes from. And that's when, you know, people on the outside start to compliment this type of people, like, man, you're so grown, you're so different. But what it takes to get to that place, man, it's it's not a funny road, you know. But I have this inclination that my purpose here is to transcribe my life experience for people, for them to understand and be able to learn from me. You know, I think God puts me in all these situations to be a help, to be a guiding light for other people through whatever it is they are going through. So in that sense, I guess, you know, he uses me, which is what I wanted. But people, we don't all get used in the same way. We think, oh, it's just about, you know, evangelism. You know, if it's not hoo-ha. God uses people in different ways. You know, Samson was not used the same way Solomon was. David was not the same way Job was. You know, we all have our different purposes, and our purposes look different from each other. You know, so basically what I'm trying to say in this video is, do not despise the growth. Do not despise the road. You know, I made a video on that a couple videos back. It was a different topic, but the same basic mentality. Society has conditioned us to be so focused on the destination, when all the while God has always been about the journey. He has always been about the road. Because think about it, life is not a destination. We don't stop here. We don't get born and remain born. We get born and then we die. Like, the entire thing is just a journey. It's a beginning to an end, and then a beginning again. You know, it's cyclical. It always has been. So I think the point is the journey. And while I'm anticipating, not the end, but anticipating a checkpoint, like there's a part of myself I see in my mind I can't wait to get to. That's not to say I don't want to go beyond that. Like, that's where I want to stop, but I can't wait to at least be that person first. You know, but I'm on the road to being that person. And the journey may be long, but at least, hey, I'm moving towards that goal. And since it's just a matter of time, I will eventually get to that point. And I think that's what everybody needs to understand, be it in content creation, be it in your business, be it in whatever you want to do in life. As long as you have the mindset that you will get there, you're on the road there. You know, you want to look great, you want to be in perfect shape, and you're dieting, you're doing all the right things. Don't get discouraged that by day 5 you don't have your dream body. Understand that you are already on the road. You're trying to take a trip to somewhere else, you don't just teleport. We don't have that ability. At least not yet. I personally think we will never, but hey, never say never, right? We get in our cars, we get on the plane, whatever, and then we take off, we turn on the car, and then we drive. And then we go through the road, and then we get to the destination. We can't just pop from the beginning to the end. You know, as much as we would want that, it always has to be a journey. And we always will feel left behind because some people started earlier due to no fault of our own. Some people are just born earlier and they get a head start naturally. But that's not to say you can't trace the same steps and end up the same way. You might even end up in a better position because you learn from their mistakes, you know? You learn from their mistakes. So it's like you're almost on a faster route. If you do it right, that is. I genuinely don't even know what this video was about anymore. I know it's about growth and the journey, but I feel like I've just gone right off topic. But I think this is the best way I know how to speak. I don't know how to put my points down in bullet points. I'm sorry. You can call it laziness or whatever, but I just think I work best and I spout my deepest truths when I'm unfiltered about it, when I say it as it comes, as opposed to having a framework to doing it, you know? So that's all I have for this video. Flowers grow in the valleys. Do not despise the pain. Do not despise the hurt. It's there to teach you something about yourself and about the world. And the beautiful thing is, once you understand it, once you learn it, you never experience it again, at least not the same way, because that's all it's trying to teach you. It's trying to show you something. And the minute you see it, it's a different ball game, you know? You can tell I feel so at ease with you guys in this video because I don't make an effort for anything. If I look great, I look great, you know? If I look scruffy, I look scruffy. I'm out here in a singlet and shit, rosary on my neck. You know, I really just want this to feel like a cover. I don't want you to feel like I'm packaging content for you. I don't want it to feel like a lot of brouhaha, you know? That's not my style anyway. That's not to shit on anybody else who's doing it that way, but I just want this to be a conversation between me and you guys. Though I don't have you guys yet, you know, but you will come. I know it's always a matter of time. That's the only determining factor. Yeah, but it's still going to be here when you guys see it. So whenever you're seeing this, understand that it's a process, man. And wherever you're going to meet me, at whatever point of my life I'm going to be at when you get to discover me, you know, understand that I had to go through this. This had to be a process. Do not look at the end result and say, oh my God, when am I ever going to get there? Because you have to be here to get there. You know what I'm saying? You have to be here. You have to take this path to get to where you want to go. Just be consistent. Just believe. And just take the lessons as lessons and not as failures, man. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.